This presentation is on regression testing by Sherry Hansen, Cameron Johnson, Derek Finger, me, Zach Heiner, and Evan Lewis.
Regression testing is a process that is done after the program has been modified. Many of us have compiled our code, added a new feature, and realized that it somehow ruined another part of the project. Regression testing is done to catch these errors quickly. Regression testing involves testing the modified program with test cases in order to reestablish confidence that the program will work as intended. This testing is done to verify and correct new logic that is entered into the program, and then validate that the modified program as a whole functions correctly.
My name is Cameron Johnson, and I'll be going over upsides of regression testing. Regression testing helps identify large errors and bugs quickly and efficiently. And regression testing is required by many companies. And it's required when there's a change in requirements and code is modified according to the requirement, when a new feature is added to the software, for defect fixing, and for performance issue fixing. Regression testing is also really customizable according to the needs of the software. And there's 4 regression testing techniques that are used. The first one is a retest all method, in which all the test cases in the test suite are rerun. The second one is regression test selection, and this allows us to omit the non-usable test cases from the test suite, and will only allow rerunning the test cases which will most affect the application. The third is test case prioritization, and this technique of testing will prioritize the test cases in order to increase a test suite's rate of fault detection. The last approach is the hybrid approach, and this combines both regression test selection and test case prioritization.
Although there are some compelling reasons to use regression testing, there are some downsides. My name is Sherry Hansen, and I'll be discussing 3 of the potential drawbacks. The first is cost. Maintaining, creating, and executing tests is costly, with some reports showing nearly 80% of the total testing budget is taken up by regression testing. In addition, nearly 50% of the budget for software maintenance is also used for regression testing. Canadian researchers studying the cost of regression testing on Java programs reported that despite the wide use of this type of testing, it was not always clear that the benefits of fewer faults outweighed the cost involved. The second potential downside is the difficulty when testing applications with GUIs. According to an article written by A. Memon about this subject, the changes in the layout of graphical elements can make older test cases unusable. This requires either rewriting of test cases or, according to Memon, testing mechanisms that can detect the frequent software modifications and adapt the old test cases to them. These options may not be viable for some projects. The final downside I would discuss is how code-based regression testing is language dependent. According to a paper written by Chen, in systems where more than one programming language is used, more than one regression technique would also be required to complete regression testing, which would significantly increase the complexity of the test. In summary, cost, difficulty in testing GUIs, and the language dependency are things a company should take into account when considering regression testing for their project.
We have discussed what regression testing is, the upsides to it, as well as the downsides. Now the question is, when would we want to use it? According to Jaspreet Rajal and Shivani Sharma in their journal A Review on Various Techniques for Regression Testing and Test Case Prioritization, regression testing is required when there is a change in requirements and code is modified according to the requirement, new feature is added to the software, defect fixing, or performance issue fixing. Here are some scenarios to help you understand when to use regression testing. Number 1. Imagine your team has just added a new map view feature to your family history app. The feature grabs data from other parts of the app and then plots that data on a map. Because this is a new feature added to the software, you would want to do regression testing, especially because it interacts with other parts of the app. Number 2, there was a large defect found in your team's scripture app. Whenever the user clicks on the scriptures, the app takes them to conference talks. And whenever the user clicks on conference talks, it takes them to Bible videos. In this case, you would want to use regression testing since this defect seems to be occurring with multiple aspects of the app. Number 3, your team has finally finished coding a homework calendar app that interfaces with iLearn and Canvas. When testing the app, you notice that the longer you are looking through the app, the worse its performance gets. In this case, regression testing may be necessary to help discover any memory leaks that are causing the app to perform poorly.
These are our sources.